Rain-slicked asphalt reflects neon signs, blurring into streaks of light. The city hums, a distant, muffled roar. 22-year-old American woman, her raincoat pulled tight, navigates the bustling sidewalk. She's pretty, with kind eyes and a determined set to her jaw. A well-loved sketchbook is clutched under her arm. She glances at her phone, a slight frown. A sudden, sharp laughter from a group of men leaning against a dark alleyway makes her instinctively pull her hood tighter. They're just shadows and cigarette glows, but a prickle of unease runs down her spine. She quickens her pace. 22-year-old American woman. Ilara enters, shaking off her coat. She sets her sketchbook on a small desk. A video call chimes. She answers. Chloe, 23, vibrant, kind, Ilara's best friend, smiles from the screen. Hey, you made it. Long day? Another late one. Mr. Henderson decided to re-envision the entire ad campaign an hour before close. My feet are screaming. Poor thing. Did you get anything sketched? Main character, 22-year-old American woman. Ilara picks up her sketchbook, flipping through it. A vivid drawing of an old, gnarled tree, twisted roots reaching, fills one page. Ilara, just this. Been thinking about the ancient oak by the old mill. There's something primal about it, like it's seen too much. Spooky, perfect for your portfolio. When are you sending those applications? Art school in Florence isn't going to wait forever. Main character, 22-year-old American woman. Ilara smiles, a spark in her eyes. Soon. I want it to be perfect. I want to tell a story with every line, every shadow. I want to feel like I've truly captured something. You will. You always do. Just promise me you won't walk home alone on those dark streets anymore. Seriously, Ilara, the news has been bad lately. Main character, 22-year-old American woman. Ilara shrugs, a dismissive gesture, but a flicker of concern crosses her face. I'm careful, Chloe, always. Besides, the bus stop is just 2 blocks. Still, just be safe. I will, promise. Chloe's image freezes as Ilara's phone screen flickers, then goes dark. Great, battery dying. She plugs it in. The room feels a little too quiet now. She glances towards her window, which overlooks a dim alley. Nothing there, just the brick wall of the building opposite. She takes a deep breath, shaking off the lingering unease, and walks towards her sketchbook. 22-year-old American woman. 2 nights later. The air is thick, humid. A street lamp flickers erratically, casting long, dancing shadows. Ilara walks, head down, focused on her path. Her phone is dead this time. She passes the alleyway from before. This time, there are more shadows, more figures. Her heart gives a hard thump against her ribs. She tries to walk faster, not looking, not reacting. A hand shoots out, grabbing her arm. Main character. Ilara gasps, whirling around. Marrow, 30s, cold, calculating eyes, holds her tight. Behind him, Rix, 20s, heavily built, vacant stare, and Silas, 20s, gaunt, nervous, fidgeting, emerge from the deeper shadows. Ilara, let me go! Marrow tightens his grip. Rix steps closer, a sneer on his face. Silas shifts nervously, glancing around. Easy, princess. Just want to talk. Main character, 22-year-old American woman. Ilara struggles, twisting. Her sketchbook slips from her grasp, falling to the wet pavement. Pages flutter, revealing the gnarled tree. No! Get away from me! She kicks out, catching Marrow's shin. He grunts, surprised, but his grip doesn't loosen. Rix moves in, grabbing her other arm. They're strong, too strong. Silas, almost reluctantly, helps shove her. They force her towards a beat-up, dark van parked further down the alley. Main character. Ilara screams, a raw, piercing sound that tears through the night. It's quickly muffled by a rough hand over her mouth. Her eyes are wide with terror, reflecting the flickering street lamp. The last thing she sees before she's pulled into the dark interior of the van is the gnarled tree sketch, caught in a puddle, its roots seeming to reach for her. Cold, cavernous, dust, cavernous. Dust motes dance in the single beam of moonlight slicing through a broken window. The air is damp, smelling of decay and old concrete. Ilara is tied to a rusty metal pole, her hands bound tightly above her head. Her body sags, already bruised. Her hair is disheveled, strands sticking to her tear-streaked face. Her breathing is ragged. Marrow paces in front of her, a cruel smirk on his face. Rix watches from a distance, indifferent. Silas huddles in a corner, avoiding her gaze. "Feisty one, weren't ya? Shoulda just stayed quiet." He walks up to her, reaches out, and roughly grabs her chin, forcing her to look at him. "Why are you doing this?" Hours pass. Hours of psychological torment. Hours of brutal, non-sexual physical abuse. She's hit, kicked, her hope systematically destroyed. Her body is a canvas of purple and red. Her spirit, once bright, dims with each blow. Main character, 22-year-old American woman. Her eyes are no longer darting, but fixed on nothing, glazed over with shock and pain. She's barely conscious. Finally, Marrow signals Rix. "Marrow, she's done. Take her out." Rix unties Ilara, letting her slumped body fall to the ground. He drags her roughly out of the warehouse. Silas flinches, turning away. 22-year-old American woman. The first gray light of dawn paints the horizon. A lonely, overgrown dirt road stretches into dense, dark woods. The air is cold, still. Rix throws Ilara's limp form onto the rough ground beside a ditch. Her head lolls, eyes barely open. She tries to breathe, a rattling sound in her chest. "Marrow, OS. Make it quick, Rix." Rix looks down at Ilara. Her face is a bruised, broken mess, but her eyes, though unfocused, hold a flicker of defiance, a silent plea for justice. He hesitates for a split second. Then, without emotion, he delivers a final brutal kick to her head. A sickening crunch. Main character, 22-year-old American woman. Ilara's body spasms once, a final ragged breath escaping her lips. Her eyes, wide and filled with the fading light of dawn, stare sightlessly at the indifferent sky. The defiance in them freezes, replaced by an empty, chilling stillness. Her last thought, a silent scream of injustice, echoes in the profound silence. The van drives away, leaving her utterly alone in the desolate landscape. The sun rises higher, bathing the scene in a cold, unforgiving light. Her body lies still, unmoving, a tragic silhouette against the growing day. The forest watches. 22-year-old American woman. Weeks later. Chloe sits on Ilara's couch, a mug of cold tea in her hands. The apartment feels hollow, empty. Dust motes dance in the sunlight. A missing poster with Ilara's smiling face is taped to the window. The news plays softly on a small TV. A reporter talks about a missing young woman, no leads. Chloe looks at Ilara's sketchbook, still open on the desk, the gnarled tree drawing prominent. Her eyes fill with tears. She touches the paper gently. The room feels cold, even with the sun streaming in. A faint, almost imperceptible whisper seems to brush past her ear, like a sigh. Chloe shivers, wrapping her arms around herself. 22-year-old American woman. Weeks later. The location where Ilara died. Night has fallen. The air is unnaturally still, heavy. Beneath the rough earth, Ilara's body lies. Deep within the earth, something stirs. Not her body, but an energy, a spark. The first sensation is a freezing, agonizing cold. Then, a pressure, immense and unbearable, like the weight of the very ground itself. Her spirit, once drifting, is violently pulled back.
pulled not to peace, but to the memory of pain, to the searing injustice of her final moments. The ground begins to vibrate, a low, guttural hum that seems to come from deep within the earth itself. The ghost of Alara, 22, awakens. Her eyes snap open. Not physical eyes, but spectral orbs that glow with an infernal light. She is still Alara, her form recognizable, her clothes torn and bloodied as they were in death. But the ethereal sheen, the impossible stillness, the raw, palpable fury emanating from her marks her as something else entirely. She rises slowly from beneath the earth, shimmering, her form coalescing from moonlight and shadow. Her face is human, but twisted. Her beautiful features are contorted by an unbearable grief, a soul-shattering betrayal, and a boundless, consuming rage. Her skin is pale, almost translucent, but her eyes are a burning, vengeful inferno. She looks down at her spectral hands, clenching them into fists. A low, guttural growl escapes her lips, not of a human, but of something ancient, something broken and remade by pure trauma. The ancient oak tree by the old mill, its roots reaching, suddenly sways violently, though there is no wind. A branch cracks and falls. Main character, 22-year-old American woman. Alara floats, ghost-like, her presence an oppressive weight. She is surrounded by an oppressive weight that drains the life from everything around her. Small objects on the ground, pebbles, leaves, begin to shake, then float upwards, suspended for a moment before dropping. She reaches out a spectral hand. The air around her ripples, distorts. A silent scream of her pain echoes in the void. She is trauma given form. She is vengeance. Silas, the nervous one. He lives in squalor, surrounded by empty takeout containers and overflowing ashtrays. He's thinner, paler. His eyes dart constantly. He jumps at every shadow, every creak. He's watching a low-budget horror film on a tiny TV, but he's not really seeing it. He keeps glancing over his shoulder. A faint, almost imperceptible whisper, like dry leaves skittering across pavement. Silas freezes. He snaps his head towards the hallway. Nothing. Silas. Just the pipes. Old building. He tries to concentrate on the TV. The whisper comes again. Closer this time. It sounds like a woman's name. Alara. His breath catches. He tries to dismiss it. He lights another cigarette, his hand shaking. Suddenly, the TV screen flickers, then goes to static. The sound of the static is too loud, grating. Silas grunts, grabbing the remote. He jams buttons. Nothing. The static on the TV begins to shift, coalesce. A vague, shadowy form seems to emerge from the noise, like a face. Main character, 22-year-old American woman. Alara's face, bruised and terrified. It's fleeting, gone in an instant, replaced by static. Silas drops the remote. He scrambles to his feet, knocking over a pile of dirty laundry. Silas, no, she's gone. She's dead. A cold spot spreads through the room, raising goosebumps on his arms. The air grows heavy. He sees his reflection in the dark window, and behind his reflection, for a split second, a pale, shimmering face. Main character, 22-year-old American woman. Alara, her eyes burning with a silent fury. He spins around. Nothing, just the dark hallway. He whimpers, backing away until he hits the wall. He feels like the walls are closing in. Flashback, int, abandoned warehouse, night. Main character, Alara, tied to the pole, her eyes wide with terror. Silas in the corner, averting his gaze, but still there. He holds a rope. End flashback. Silas is hyperventilating. The room is growing colder. He can hear the whisper everywhere now, surrounding him. Trapped. The door to his tiny, cluttered apartment slams shut, rattling the old frame. He jumps, crying out. He fumbles for his keys, tries to unlock the door. The lock is jammed. He pulls, shoves, it won't budge. The light fixture above his head begins to swing violently. The single bulb flickers, threatening to go out. Silas looks around wildly. He sees shadows moving in the periphery of his vision. He sees main character, 22-year-old American woman, Ilara's outline, pale and indistinct, at the end of the hallway. Her face is human, but ethereal, her eyes burning. Her expression is a horrifying blend of the fear she experienced and the rage she now wields. He bangs on the door, frantic. "Silas, let me out! I didn't do anything!" The whisper is loud now, right in his ear. A low, distorted growl that sends shivers down his spine. "Ilara, ghost, you tied me." A heavy bookshelf, piled high with junk, begins to shudder. Dust rains down. Silas stares, paralyzed. "Ilara, ghost, trapped, like me." The bookshelf topples, slowly, menacingly. Silas screams, scrambling away, but he's too late. The heavy shelves, the books, the junk crash down onto him, pinning him against the wall. He's crushed, gasping for air, his limbs pinned. He struggles, grunting, unable to move. The single light bulb above him flickers one last time, then dies. Darkness envelops him. Through the gloom, a pale, shimmering face hovers inches from his. Main character, 22-year-old American woman, Ilara. Her eyes are pools of black sorrow and incandescent rage. Her mouth is open, a silent scream of vindication. He thrashes, his breath coming in ragged gasps, choked by the weight. He tries to scream, but only a gurgle escapes. "Ilara, ghost, suffocate." The last thing Silas sees is Ilara's face, close up. Her eyes burn into his, mirroring the terror of her own final moments, but now she is the one delivering it. His struggles cease. His eyes roll back. The bookshelf settles, burying him. The room is silent, save for the dripping of a leaky faucet.
Rix, the brute. He's working on a beat-up car engine, grunting with effort. Sweat drips down his brow. He's still large, still strong, but there's a new haunted look in his eyes. He's drinking heavily. He wipes his hands on a greasy rag, takes a swig from a beer bottle. A flicker of movement at the edge of his vision. He looks up. Nothing. Just the dusty, cluttered workshop. Rix. Got too much sun, Rix. He goes back to the engine. The wrench he was just using, lying on the workbench, suddenly slides, falling to the concrete floor with a clang. Rix freezes. He slowly bends down, picks it up. He glances around. The air feels colder. He tries to dismiss it, grumbling. He slams the wrench back onto the workbench. Flashback. XT, Park, Day. Main character, 22-year-old American woman. Ilara, laughing, running through a sun-drenched park with Chloe. Her hair flies behind her. She's completely free, vibrant, full of life. She reaches up, catching a falling leaf. Pure joy on her face. End flashback. Rix is alone, drunk. The workshop is lit by a single, buzzing fluorescent light. He's trying to lift a heavy engine block onto a stand. He strains, muscles bulging. Suddenly, an invisible force shoves him. He stumbles, cursing, nearly dropping the engine. What the hell? He looks around, enraged. He sees nothing. The air grows icy. A tool, a large hammer, flies across the room, smashing into a wall with incredible force, leaving a dent. Rix's bravado starts to crack. His eyes widen. He hears the faint, distant echo of a woman's scream. Main character, 22-year-old American woman, Ilara scream. "No, no, you're dead! I saw you!" The fluorescent light above him begins to swing wildly like a pendulum. It hums and buzzes, too loud. Rix starts to back away.
He feels a pressure on his chest, like an invisible weight. It pushes him back, slowly, deliberately. "Elara!" Ghost. "You threw me! You kicked me!" Rix tries to fight it, pushing back against the unseen force. He's strong, but this is different. This is relentless, supernatural strength. He stumbles against a stack of tires. He sees her, a shimmering, indistinct form in the periphery. Main character, 22-year-old American woman, Elara. Her face is a terrifying mix of sorrow and extreme, unholy rage. Her eyes are bottomless pits of vengeance. The pressure on his chest intensifies. He gasps for air, his lungs burning. "Get off me!" He tries to punch the air, but his blows meet nothing. He feels his body being twisted, bent. The pressure increases, crushing him against the wall of tires. He hears the sickening sound of his own bones groaning, threatening to snap. "Elara!" Ghost. Helpless. Like me. His eyes bulge. He sees Elara's face right in front of his. Her mouth opens, a silent, guttural scream of unleashed power. Her eyes are like burning coals, reflecting his own terror. The crushing force becomes unbearable. He gasps for air, his lungs burning. "Get off me!" He tries to punch the air, but his blows meet nothing. He feels his body being twisted, bent. The pressure increases, crushing him against the wall of tires. He hears the sickening sound of his own bones groaning, threatening to snap. "Elara!" Ghost. Helpless. Like me. His eyes bulge. He sees Elara's face right in front of his. Her mouth opens, a silent, guttural scream of unleashed power. Her eyes are like burning coals, reflecting his own terror. The crushing force becomes unbearable. He screams, a strangled, desperate sound, as his ribs splinter, his body contorts. He's suffocated, crushed against the wall by an invisible, relentless power. His muscles spasm, then relax. His eyes stare, unseeing, into Elara's furious gaze. The fluorescent light finally shatters, plunging the workshop into darkness. A final heavy thud as Rix's body slumps. Marrow. He's living in a rustic but well-maintained cabin deep in the woods. Remote, no neighbors. He exudes a calm, almost serene confidence. He's drinking coffee, looking out at the trees. He thinks he's safe. He glances at a newspaper on his table. A small article mentions missing persons cases still unsolved. He smiles, a cold, self-satisfied smirk. He pours another cup of coffee. The window glass, perfectly clean, suddenly has a single, faint handprint on it. A childlike print. Marrow frowns, rubbing it with his finger. It's gone. He shakes his head, thinking it was just a smudge. He walks to his bookshelf. His eye catches a specific book, The Art of War. He takes it down. Flashback. In T, Elara's apartment, day. Main character, 22-year-old American woman. Elara, sketching furiously in her apartment, surrounded by her art. Vibrant colors, sweeping lines. She's sketching a cityscape full of life and movement. Her face is concentrated, passionate, fully immersed in her dream. She hums softly. End flashback. Marrow is asleep in his bed. The cabin is pitch black, silent. A faint, almost imperceptible whisper, like air escaping from a hidden vent. It's too subtle to wake him. The temperature in the room drops, rapidly, unnaturally. Marrow stirs, pulling the blanket tighter. He wakes slowly. He feels cold. He looks around the dark room. He hears a faint scraping sound, like fingernails dragging on wood, from the corner. Hello? The scraping stops. He sits up, straining his eyes. Nothing. He dismisses it as a dream. He lies back down. Then a small, heavy object hits the floor with a thud beside his bed. He jolts upright. He flicks on his bedside lamp. He looks down. It's his own pocket knife, which he keeps on his nightstand. It's open. The blade glints wickedly. He stares at it, a flicker of unease in his cold eyes. He slowly picks it up, closes the blade. He glances at the dark corner. The shadows seem deeper, almost moving. "You saw me." Marrow's breath catches. He heard it. A whisper, not from the air, but from inside his head. He tries to rationalize. Stress, paranoia. He gets out of bed, walks to the window. He looks out at the dense, dark woods. The trees seem to press in, their branches like skeletal fingers. He sees a flash of white in the darkness between the trees. A fleeting shape, too tall, too still. He blinks. It's gone. He feels a chilling presence behind him. He spins around. Nothing. The air in the room is now freezing. He can see his own breath. Suddenly, a framed photograph on his mantelpiece, a picture of him, smiling, confident, flies off, smashing against the opposite wall. Glass shatters. Marrow's face tightens. The cold composure begins to crack. He walks towards the shattered frame, his eyes scanning the room. "You broke everything." He hears it again, clearer, in his mind. "Who's there? Show yourself." The light in the cabin begins to flicker, then dies, plunging the cabin into absolute darkness. Marrow fumbles for his phone, switches on the flashlight. The beam cuts through the oppressive blackness. He hears a sound, a slow, scraping drag. From the hallway, he points the flashlight. The light illuminates a pale, torn dress, then a leg, then a body. Its main character, 22-year-old American woman, Ilara. She appears exactly as she did in death, bruised and broken. Her clothes torn and bloody. But she's floating, hovering inches above the floor, slowly dragging herself forward. Her head is tilted at an unnatural angle, blood matted in her hair. Her face, it is still human, but profoundly altered. Her left eye is bruised shut, her lips swollen. But her right eye, wide open, burns with an unholy light. There is unimaginable grief etched into her features, a silent, eternal scream of the pain she endured. And beneath that grief, a terrifying, unyielding rage that radiates from her like heat from a furnace. She is silent, utterly still, save for the slow, dreadful drag of her spectral form. Marrow freezes, his face finally showing true fear. His hand shakes, the flashlight beam wavering. "No, you're dead! This isn't real!" Main character, 22-year-old American woman, Ilara. Ilara's good eye fixes on him. It's a gaze that holds the weight of all his crimes, all her suffering. Ilara, ghost, you left me for dead, alone. She lunges forward, not physically, but her image distorts, stretches, becoming monstrous, filling his vision. A chilling, high-pitched wail erupts, cutting through the darkness. Marrow screams, dropping the flashlight. Darkness consumes him. He scrambles back, tripping over furniture. He can feel the icy presence, the overwhelming weight of her grief and fury. He feels hands on him, cold, spectral hands that burn with frostbite. They grab his arms, his legs, pulling him, dragging him effortlessly. He fights, kicks, screams, but there's nothing to hit. He's being pulled out of the cabin, into the cold night.
Marrow is dragged, struggling, across the concrete floor of the abandoned warehouse. His screams echo, frantic and desperate. The same warehouse where main character, 22-year-old American woman, Ilara, was tortured. He's pulled towards the rusty metal pole. An invisible force lifts him, slamming him against the pole, then begins to bind his hands above his head with invisible restraints. He can't move. He hangs there, gasping, terrified. The moonlight through the broken window illuminates the scene. Main character, 22-year-old American woman, Ilara, stands before him. She is fully formed, appearing exactly as she was in life, beautiful and vibrant. But her form shimmers with an ethereal light, a cold blue glow. Her dress is clean, her hair perfect. Her face is devastating. Her eyes, now both open, are pools of liquid darkness reflecting the cold light. There are no bruises, no blood, but her expression holds the deepest, most profound sorrow imaginable. It's the face of utter heartbreak, of a soul shattered by injustice. Then, as she focuses on Marrow, the sorrow melts, slowly, into a terrifying, unearthly rage. Her perfect features contort, her lips curl into a silent snarl. Her eyes become burning embers, radiating pure hatred. Marrow, what do you want? I gave you nothing. Ilara, ghost, you took everything. She slowly raises a hand. The air around her begins to crackle, distort. Dust swirls into tiny tornadoes around her feet. Marrow, I didn't kill you. Rix did. It was Rix. Ilara, ghost, you watched. You commanded. You chose me. She floats closer, her presence an overwhelming wave of cold and despair. Why? Why me? There were others. Main character, 22-year-old American woman. Ilara manifests a vision for him. The wall behind her shimmers, then shows a brief, fleeting image. Ilara, walking down the street, her sketchbook in hand, oblivious. Then, Marrow's cold eyes, watching her from the alley. A deliberate, predatory selection. Marrow recoils, seeing his own casual cruelty reflected back. Ilara, ghost. I had dreams. I had life. You stole it. 22-year-old American woman. She reaches out a spectral hand. Marrow screams, bracing for a blow. But her hand simply hovers over his chest. He feels an agonizing, burning cold seeping into him, straight into his heart. His eyes roll back. He's forced to relive it. He sees Ilara's final moments from her perspective. The pain, the terror, the cold earth, the utter, devastating loneliness. He feels her last breath, the life draining from her, the overwhelming sense of injustice. He tastes the metallic tang of his own blood in her mouth. Marrow convulses, gasping, experiencing the full horror of her death. He sees his own face, cold and indifferent, delivering the final blow through her eyes. He screams, a raw, primal sound, as the vision subsides. He is sweating, shaking. You will feel what I felt. She raises both hands. The entire warehouse begins to shake violently. Concrete dust rains down. Metal groans. The ropes that bind him, invisible but crushing, tighten excruciatingly. Marrow cries out as his bones begin to crack under the immense pressure. Ilara cries out, "No one heard me! No one helped me!" Her power surges, an unstoppable force. Marrow's body is twisted, pulled, broken, contorted beyond recognition. His final screams are cut short by the sound of snapping bone and muscle. Then, silence. Main character, 22-year-old American woman. Ilara hangs in the air, her form radiating malevolent power, her face a horrific tableau of vindicated grief and unholy rage. Her eyes are still burning. The vengeance is complete. She slowly descends, her shimmering form moving towards Marrow's broken body. She hovers over him, her face impassive now, still consumed by a cold, lingering power. She looks around the empty warehouse.
the scene of her torment, now also the scene of her retribution.
Days later, the sun rises over the desolate road. The ancient oak tree stands sentinel. The abandoned warehouse looms in the distance. No police, no search, just the eerie silence. A faint, shimmering distortion hangs in the air above the warehouse, invisible to the eye, but radiating an unsettling chill.
22-year-old American woman. Months later, Chloe stands in Alara's apartment. It's completely cleared out, empty. The walls are bare, the windows are dark. Chloe runs her hand along the dusty windowsill. A deep sadness washes over her. She walks to the door, opens it, and pauses. She glances back at the empty room. She feels a familiar, sudden cold spot, a faint, almost imperceptible whisper brushing past her ear. It sounds like her name, Chloe. Chloe shivers, wrapping her arms around herself. Her eyes widen slightly. She quickly closes the door, then locks it, the click echoing in the stillness.
The same desolate road where Alara died. The old oak tree stands silhouetted against a bruised, moonless sky. The road is empty, utterly silent. Then, a faint, rhythmic, dragging sound. Slowly, from the dark woods, a figure emerges. Main character, 22-year-old American woman, Alara. She appears as she did the night she began her vengeance. Clothes torn, hair matted, her body bruised and broken. But her movements are smoother, more deliberate now. Her eyes, still burning with an internal, ethereal light, no longer hold the raw, agonized grief. Instead, they hold a deep, consuming emptiness, a chilling, eternal stillness. Her face, once a canvas of emotion, now bears a terrifying, permanent calm. The rage has settled into a cold, unbreakable resolve. The sorrow has been replaced by an infinite void. She drags her spectral form along the deserted road, leaving a shimmering, icy trail behind her. She passes the exact spot where her body was abandoned. She doesn't pause. She continues walking, her gaze fixed on the distant, glittering lights of the city. The dragging sound fades into the night. The empty road stretches out before her, and behind her, the unsettling, lingering promise of an eternal, unyielding terror.